Hello YouTube, flashlight enthusiast here. Dual channel flashlights are so fun to use with instant switching between flooding and through channels and even sometimes featuring both channels simultaneously. You've got a perfect combination for every scenario. One of such flashlights is Manker MK39 Ranger, which features both a floody 20,000 lumen channel but also a unique looking round LED through channel, combining best of both worlds in a chunky, high capacity battery package. Is it as good as it looks? Well, let's find out. MK39 comes in this nice hard case with Manker Light logo, always a nice addition for a $400 flashlight. Inside the box you'll find a single O-ring replacement, a user manual in English and Chinese, as well as medium length USB-C to Type-C charging cable, well organized inside a hard case. Manker MK39 Ranger is definitely a big boy in the game. It's actually a second generation of this Manker MK39, featuring the same design with 3 different reflectors. One big optimized for throw and 2 smaller ones for a floody channel. The design is plain and simple, and it does remind me of a simple block of aluminum with some minor cuts. Don't get me wrong, the edges are smooth and everything, however the design is just raw. We've got big square cut cooling fins, we've got this really thin handle that can be removed unscrewing those 2 screws, and there is just gigantic body that is not that comfortable to hold, and luckily we have the handle. Thanks to this design, the Manker MK39 can be stably put on a table or any flat surface, which is just an additional feature. There is a lanyard attachment at the end of the handle, and at the very top of the flashlight it is wide enough to incorporate a standard 7mm paracord lanyard there. At the front we've got slight anti-reflective coating on the glass, and reflectors are just of highest quality. We've got the big smooth reflector with some light texture of the main LED, and the orange peel reflector in quad configuration to incorporate 8 flooding emitters XHP 50.2 LED alike, as these feature Chinese unknown LEDs. Both are cool white LEDs, however you will notice it more in the floody channel obviously, as the throwy LED is domeless and does not provide any tint shift, visible even to enthusiast's eye. MK39 is powered by a single 46800 24,000 mAh rechargeable battery. It is button top, and what is usually an issue is that you don't have any spare ones, so you rely on internal charging to replenish the energy used for your adventures. There is a physical reverse polarity down there and no spring on the tail cap, however I couldn't detect any shock issues in my using. The threads are square and well lubricated from the factory, and you have the replacement O-ring in case you need that. And there is a battery orientation diagram on the body as well. Speaking of the battery, we've got a charging port here under this metal slider that does provide a substantial amount of resistance and is metal to metal contact. Down there you've got the USB-C charging port and the charging indicator underneath. The charging indicator will change from red to blue once the charging has been finished. It does also support a power bank feature, which will be indicated by the blue battery indicator on the flashlight. While the battery capacity is definitely impressive, the real problem with 46800 battery is that it cannot take high current, unlike multi-cell battery packs offered for instance in AMOLED flashlights. With regular charger I got around 8 hours of charging, and when I switched to the higher current 100 watt charger it didn't really make much difference. For me personally, it's a true pain in the butt Whenever you turn on the flashlight, there is a battery indicator with blue, purple, red and flashing red indicators. Right there under your thumb there is a rotating mode selector, which unfortunately in my view does provide too much friction and should be a little bit more refined. At the center there is a switch as well as battery indicator whenever you power on the flashlight. At the very left position we've got your lockout output when the flashlight does not operate at all. Moving one step to the right we've got a throw mode. Now one click to turn the flashlight on and while to turn it off. You can hold the side switch to enter the ultra low moonlight mode, and there you hold the switch to cycle between 3 different moonlight modes. Turn the flashlight off with one click to enter the main modes, and now you hold the switch to access 5 different lighting modes. One click to turn it off, and now the double tap will provide a turbo output. One click to turn it off, triple click to go into the strobe mode, hold the switch to enter the SOS mode, and hold the switch there to go into the beacon mode. Hold again to come back to the strobe mode. One click to turn it off. There is identical logic for all other modes, so moving on with the rotating switch one position to the right, we've got your flooding output with same user interface, and one click to the left we've got dual channel mode. One thing to notice is that whenever mode you chose in which channel, when you switch the channel, the mode is memorized and different LEDs will light up in the same mode. Whenever you move to the lockout mode, the light will remain on for 1 second and turn it off automatically. MK39 is definitely not the lightest flashlight, weighing over 1 kilogram or 2 pounds and 5.7 ounces. For comparison, there is an Imalent MR90 with 902 grams or 1 pound and 15.8 ounces. Here are my Lumen measurements for the Manker MK39. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Flood output is definitely impressive on the Manker MK39 second generation. I measured over 20,598 lumens at start, and as you can see, after 3 minutes and 4 seconds we still got over 17,000 lumens before a quick step down over the course of 10 seconds to around 3,388 lumens, with flashlight body achieving 50 degrees Celsius. As usual, we've got active thermal regulation at a couple of first minutes before stabilizing at a sustainable level of around 3000 lumens with overall runtime of 2 hours and 54 minutes before turning off. Beware that the flashlight can get hot, and I measured 65 degrees Celsius at the body. Looking at the higher output, here we've got 11,000 lumens at start and over 5.5 minutes of solid performance before a quick step down over the course of 5 seconds to around 4,000 lumen level with flashlight body achieving 50 degrees Celsius. Then flat output regulation with excellent sustainable output of over 3000 lumens with slightly active thermal regulation at start, and towards the end of runtime when flashlight actually increased the brightness slightly. The spot output is when you can be disappointed. Here we've got around 6668 lumen level at start, which is quite impressive for a single LED. However, despite lower brightness, we've got only 1 minute and 24 seconds of runtime before stepping down to around 1500 lumen level, with flashlight head achieving only 40 degrees Celsius. Then, as you can see, we've got increase and decrease of brightness in active thermal regulation, and then flat nice output of around 1400 lumens with overall runtime of slightly over 4 hours before turning off. Judging by the temperature of flooding mode, it could be much higher sustainable output here if only thermal regulation was addressed, which can also be seen if you combine both channels into one. Here I measured around 22,728 lumens at start, and after only 1 minute and 32 seconds we've got a quick step down over the course of 10 seconds to around 4,702 lumen level, with flashlight head achieving 50 degrees Celsius. Then we've got a quite rapid drop in brightness and then slight increase. However, we've got a sustainable output of around only 2000 lumens in the combined channel, with overall runtime of 3 hours and 23 minutes before turning off. Definitely I expected something more for a flashlight of this caliber. The Beamshot section, I would compare Manker MK39 to the Imolent MR90 with SBT90 as well as 8 XHP 70.2 HD LEDs, and then the throw channel to the another Manker MK39 with SBT90 and TIR optics, as well as another reflector-based SBT90 thrower, the Beam P20. All in all, it was definitely fun to play with Manker MK39 Ranger 2nd generation. From what I saw on the website, it is a definite upgrade from the 1st generation, however it still misses some key points. While having such a nice big capacity battery is a nice addition, 8 hours of charging is definitely a miss here. Overall build quality is excellent and I cannot really criticize any sharp edges or so. However, I can feel some rough edges on the charging port and channel selector, which does give an impression of not fully refined product. I really adore the dual channel design and ability to use both channels simultaneously. While the floody channel is definitely powerful, without switching to the throwy channel you cannot see much above 200 meters. Which is not the case, for instance, with Imalent MR90, where you have much more powerful floody channel. Still, I highly appreciate that you have the choice between cool white and neutral white LEDs on the website. What I would like to point out is that round LED gives a truly nice and centered hotspot with really cut off edge, which creates a perfect circle vision. I just wish the reflector was slightly deeper in that case, as it is a throw specialized channel. Nevertheless, I'm truly amazed how perfect this beam is, even from such a shallow reflector. Well done, Manker, well done. It is great to have a handle, however I would highly appreciate a shoulder strap with this weight being included in the package. With that being said, many of you will probably appreciate the power bank feature. I just wish it was 4 or 8 21700 cells instead of this big one gigantic 46800. I think the UI is great and you have tons of different possibilities with multiple moonlight and main LED modes. And the ergonomics of this flashlight is also on a good level. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the review. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to support the algorithm, not to miss any future videos that I release. If you have any questions or personal comments, please leave them below this video and we'll see you in the next one.